Yo, to the Hype Magazine, this is Play from Kid and Play.
This is Kid from Kid and Play.
Christopher Reed, Christopher Martin, Kid and Play.
Let's get hype.
Hype.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby. And today, early in the morning, fresh off the trail from Australia, hip-hop stalwart, Olskool Ice-Grē from Chicago's Abstract Mindstate.
Yes,
Look,
sir.
they have created benchmark after benchmark after benchmark. And I'm not going to tell you all about it, but look, they've been starting making waves early 2000s with, as an artist, the first and only artist to release a project, right? I believe on a very special label.
Yeah.
Yet to be disclosed. Tune in for more. Olskool Ice-Grē. We're here really because for 20 years plus, he has been pushing a movement to have an adult contemporary hip hop category for the award shows, similar to what was done to create a CHR rhythmic division within the radio world to separate the sounds. It's about the sonics and the style and the cultural salutes that are encompassed in hip hop, whereas, you know, rap has been included in rock and roll, you know, EDM, et cetera, et cetera. And I am of the ilk and the gray-hairedness that feels there's no way that a Big L and a Lil Yachty should be in the same category, or Nas and, you know, King Von. Totally different elements of the same hub.
Right.
And is differentiated by the sonics, I believe, is what I understood you to say.
Yes.
Olskool.
Yes.
Talk to it.
Yeah, man. So I'll say it like this. I've been waving the flag for this thing I call ACH, Adult Contemporary Hip Hop, for over 20 years. I literally started putting the actual legwork in like 3 years ago. I didn't realize, or let's just say I was uneducated, I guess you could say, uninformed. I didn't know anything could be done about that. I just thought that it was something that I branded our music, my group. When I say our, my group, Abstract Mindstate, which you mentioned. You know, we looked at as veterans, legends, front runners of the Chicago hip hop scene, and we got known internationally because of our work. You know, and back then it wasn't about the internet; it was about your work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it wasn't about analytics.
They knew us coast to coast because we actually would go to the West Coast and to the East Coast and perform and show our, you know, show ourselves and you know, do our thing. But anyway, I was just saying that to say I've been waving the flag and calling our music adult contemporary hip hop because I just thought it was a cool brand, because I noticed from the very beginning we had a broad, even, you know, in my younger days of being an artist, we had a very broad audience. Our audience ranged from at the time the hip hop lovers that was our age at the time, like, you know, early 20s, you know, all the way up to like my parents at the time and her friends, and, you know, my father and his friend, you know. And I was just like, you know, we really have a, you know, and we stuck to the traditional. We never left the like I like to stress that adult contemporary hip hop has nothing at all to do with age. It just it only has to do with the sound of the music embracing the traditional sensibilities of hip hop, and, you know, the foundational little, you know, idiosyncrasies of what made us fall in love with it. And somewhere in all of this, somewhere in all of the corporate hoopla and the major label overkill and all of these, you know, we can pile on a lot of things, but somewhere in there we lost the essence of the sound. And there are several young, iconic, and mature alike that have maintained the sound, you know. And I always bring up a concentrated group of individuals who I feel like now represent, you know, like I always say people like Corday. He's
Mm,
a adult contemporary hip hop artist. He's young. I think Corday is only 20 some years old. He's an adult contemporary hip hop artist in terms of his sound.
okay.
A guy like, you know, Joey Badass, adult contemporary hip hop, Denzel Curry. I look at female artists, even newer ones like Lady London, or really creative boundary pushers like Tierra Whack, who's super lyrical. But everything about those artists, they're very young, but their sound is very traditional and rooted in what made us, you know, fall in love with it. It has nothing to do with the labels or mainstream media or radio is pushing. It's the traditional. So that's where ACH comes in. That's where, you know, I began waving the flag, because even again, when I was in that position, early 20s, you know, our sound was we wasn't doing what was popping on radio, so to speak. So I start waving the flag for this ACH thing. And like I say, 3 years ago, I found out that I could do something about it. It became more than conversation. And I'm a guy that I like to label myself action. I'm an action guy. I'm not one to just talk a lot. I feel like I have to talk a lot now, because right now it's important that I share the information, because it's kind of new. It's not a new conversation, but it's a new approach. It's a new way of doing it. I actually did the work, so it's not like me talking about it now is wishful thinking. I'm speaking about it because I've actually already done the work. You know, I wrote proposals, I submitted it to a couple of award shows, and I plan on doing it with more. But it's just layers and more work to be done. So right now I'm in what I like to call the information age, or the informative area for ACH right now, where I have to talk about it and let it, you know, let it be known, so the masses can be familiar with what I'm doing, and it will galvanize and unite like-minded individuals like yourself who understand what this is, and support it. And I'm only looking for supporters. This is not a thing where I'm trying to fight with people on the internet and create debate, because the internet, social media is a hilarious space, because you
Hmm.
know, people will just, like I say, everybody doesn't deserve a voice, and social media gives everybody a voice. So you have like these, I don't know, trolls or negative folk that just, they don't even look at the full interview. They see a clip and they just jump in. Oh man, we don't need to be separating hip hop and making it da da da. And it makes me laugh, because I'm like, dude, I'm not separate. I'm not changing. I'm not separating. I'm actually just, my goal is expanding. That's the word I like to stand on, expansion. You know, I've given this analogy a couple of times, Jerry. I said, at one point in time, when homes were built, when houses were built, we only had one way in. And at some point, as the house evolved, somebody came up with an idea saying, "Hey, let's have another door," and we called it a back door. And now houses have side doors, doors on the roof. It's all kinds of ways to get in the same room
Right,
or
right.
get in the same space. And I'm just trying to create some more doors to get into the same space. Or like I say, I always check myself when I use the word trying. What I'm doing is putting in the work that
Mm.
will create more space, so we can all be in the same room. So that's why I stand on it becomes more inclusive than exclusive.
Okay, okay. I he was being using the he was living the social construct called humble when he started talking about his album that he and Ebony Poetess put together that launched into the forefront. No, I'm just going to back up because you tried to be slick and walk around like we put out, and then we're going to talk about you know, Dream Still Inspire was
Yes,
produced completely by Kanye West,
yes,
and it was under
yes,
the Yeezy Sounds
Yes, Yeezy Sound.
was
Yep,
the
his
label, and
platform.
was the
Yep.
only project that
Yeah.
came out of that. And
Yeah.
this was after a 16-year hiatus, right? Between
Yes.
recording.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. So after 16 years, Kanye says, we got to do this and let's get it done.
Right.
Did it, and it went wild and relaunched an important benchmark sound group and understanding of the culture from the Midwest aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
And reopen the doors. See, I ain't playing with you. I know
Come
you.
on, man. Hey, I gotta salute you. You did your research, you know. Look, see, that's why I like talking to guys like you on platforms like this, because you actually you remind me of the good old days of excellent journalism. You know, when we used to get those interviews and the artists always say, man, that was a good interview. He asked a lot of good questions. And all we be wanting is the people to do a little research. Because I've been on a couple of platforms and you know, they the topic at hand may be of interest, but they have no idea what I've done and why do I feel like can be in this. Why do I deserve or feel like I can be in this position? And what you just shared kind of brings some light to my background and just to build on it a little more for you. What happened was, so I was the very first A&R of Good Music, the label that Kanye started, and you know, I was with him. I rocked with Kanye for like 24 years. He and I I moved out to New York a year after he left Chicago. I left Chicago a year after, just trying to get a new record deal for my group because we had signed we were purposely being independent and we signed a bad independent deal.
Mm.
And so I went to New York to get us to find a better situation for us because, you know, I was so sick of everything at the time. And I'm like, if hip hop is in New York, I'm going to New York. I'm going to the Mecca to go. You know, that
Right,
was my
right.
attitude. If hip hop is in New York, I'm going to New York. You know, so this was like around the year 2000. And I had forgotten, me Kanye and I had started building a relationship and a friendship a year before that. And I literally, because our building was it got abbreviated, it got cut short. I wasn't thinking about him when I moved to New York. All I was thinking about was a better situation from Abstract Mindstate and a guy that everyone knows his name because he was the one who one of the directors of Genius, the Netflix documentary
Mhm.
that focused on Kanye's rise, Cootie of Creative Control, the team Cootie and Chike. They're a tandem. So Cootie is great friend of mine, huge supporter of Abstract Mind State. Cootie is actually the reason I met Kanye. That's a whole nother story.
Oh,
He's
wow.
and it was only because of him. It was only because of Cootie playing an advanced copy of our album at the time, which was called "We Paid, Let Us In," while he was doing promotions for the Source
Mm.
magazine, and he was driving the Source truck. And the truck, I don't know if you remember that Source truck, but it was known because it had like a gang of, it had like loud music. And you know, it was like a flashy truck with a lot of
Promo
music.
trip.
Yeah, it was like a promo truck, and Cootie decided that he wanted to play Abstract Mind State because he felt like, you know, the guys that the magazine would want him to play, he felt like they already had what they needed, and Abstract was like the new hot thing. And at the time, we were the talk. We were on the lips of a lot of labels, coast to coast. Everybody, we were buzzing, and Cootie was the only one with a copy of our album at that time. And he was playing it in the Source truck when Kanye was doing a photo shoot for a clothing line at the time called Mecca. And when he was doing that shoot, our music was playing and he kept asking, like, who is this? Every song that came on, he'll stop in the middle of the shoot. And I'm watching him from across the street because I'm watching the photo shoot from it was a clothing store that was really popular in Chicago at the time called Crew Sports. It was one of those, one of those stores where all of the latest brands and the hot sports attire would be. And
Okay.
I was leaning up against the store. The owners of the store was a huge supporters of Abstract Mindstate as well. So we were pretty active at that time in Chicago. Anything that went on, they would invite us. So my EP wasn't there, but I was, and I was watching the photo shoot from across the street, and I saw Cootie kept saying, that's Abstract Mindstate till he finally like pointed at me. I guess Cootie told me on the other side, he was telling him, man, that's Olskool Ice-Grē. He right there looking at us. And so Kanye just walks out of the photo shoot, in the middle of the shoot. He just walked out. It was in the middle of we have a street in Chicago called Stony Island. And Stony
Okay.
Island actually is like what we would call an island because it's two sides to it and the middle is grass. So it's like an island sitting in between two streets. And
Okay.
one going with the directions like north and south. But anyway, he came over to me, one thing led to another. He was like, man, how come y'all didn't work with me? I was like, well, he was on the rise at the time. I thought we couldn't afford him. He said, how you know I wouldn't work it out? Next thing you know, we're exchanging numbers. Fast forward, he literally asked me, can we hang out? I would like to hang out with you. Can we, and I was like, sure. And so he started hanging out with me and he started bouncing with me to a few places. And then shortly he moved to New York a few months into us building. And he actually produced a song on our first album, one song. And then he left for New York and I forgot about him. And it was Cootie. Once I landed in New York, Cootie told Kanye the next day that I had moved there. And so 3 days into me being in New York, he said, oh man, I talked to Ye yesterday. I said, oh man, I forgot he was out here. He was like, yeah, man, he wanted me to bring you to the house. And that began what became a 24-year run of creative collaboration with he and I. And like I say, I became the first A&R Good Music. He always thought Abstract Mindstate was dope, but we weren't one of the groups that ever was a part of Good Music, or I never sweated him for a record deal. I just did my thing for him that he brought me on to do, and that was to help him become a star, and
Okay.
and we did it. We did it. We did it in a huge way. So
Mhm.
yeah,
That was integrity, not
yeah,
trying to get something for yourself. It wasn't transactions. Like, bro, I really believe in you and thank you for what you did already. And let's get it and make this bread because you got what
yeah,
it takes. And
yep,
it was,
yeah.
I understand, but it wasn't just business. It was a hangout friendship. You
Yeah,
know?
man, it was just hanging out, man, and I wanted to be honest. Like when people, I'll keep it real candid on here. People be like, "Man, you don't ever get jealous? You did so much behind the scenes for him, and he never really talked about it, or he da da da. You don't get jealous to see how big he is now." And this is, before whatever the drama he's gone through in over the last year or so. We're not talking about that. Just like let's just say the height of like the Kanye explosion for the last, all the way up into the last couple of years, he was
Yeah. Like, why
had
weren't
a
you tagged in that, homie? Why weren't you tagged in that, right?
right, right. So, uh, I was like, nah, because what people don't understand about me is bigger than me. Yes, yes, I feel Abstract Mind State should have been like Fuji's or Diggable Planets level,
Hmm.
especially since we're still originals from the time we started to this day. We're still the only male female duo
Hmm.
that has commercially released the album on major the way we have. There has never been a male female duo. Now, like I named two groups just then, Diggable and Fuji's, but that's two guys and a girl. That's a trio. It hasn't been a duo. So anyway, yes, I felt like Abstract should have been as big as them. But did I ever get mad about that? No. My thing was, as an individual, I always wanted to be a part of something, a part of something big or new or explosive or groundbreaking in hip hop. And so my run with Kanye, when people ask me like, man, you never got jealous or you never felt, I'm like, no, because I achieved a goal. My goal was to be a part of something, groundbreaking and massive in hip hop. And I was a part of that. So it wasn't necessary. I learned even about myself. I said, man, I learned that I wasn't so caught up in being a star myself. I just wanted to be a part of something that really like shook hip hop up because that was my heart. Hip hop was that's how my blood was, at that time. I lived and breathed for hip hop. So I just wanted to be a part of something. And it worked out. So that was my humble beginnings, you know.
You know, they say teamwork makes the dream work. You on the military teams and stuff, everybody does their job. And
Right.
it's about the team moving forward because everybody, you know, um, gets their shine and makes it home or whatever. You know what I mean? Get the
Right.
awards and things like that. Same when you're doing business, because like you said, it wasn't just business, it was a real hangout,
Yeah.
true stomp down, we're friends type of situation, and we
Yeah.
believe in the same, and it worked out like you said. So the name recognition, you see the plaques on the wall. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
just
man.
saying. So that you know, money in the bank, say what you want. You know what
Right,
I mean?
right,
So
right.
that part right there. Now I mentioned the word humble. He didn't want to name the names because we're going back to the ACH. Bro,
Right, right.
I'm not playing with you, man. I'm kidding.
No, no, no.
Play.
I'm not bad. I actually, you know, if you wouldn't have done it, it wouldn't have been done. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Let's
it.
watch this, right? Like, so he actually researched and wrote the proposal,
Hmm.
sent it over to the Grammys,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
they heavily considered but did not implement. However,
Hmm.
when you put work clothes on your dreams and actively and aggressively step forward, somebody's going to see the vision and say, here we go.
Yes.
Hollywood Independent Hip Hop Awards, I believe it.
Yeah. A music
Music
award.
Awards.
Yes. Yes.
Hollywood Independent Music Awards.
Yes.
That's big.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Implemented the
Yeah.
implemented the
It
ACH
is.
category.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Yeah, man. So a guy by the name of Brent Harvey is the founder of the what they call the HIMAs, the Hollywood Independent Music Awards. But he's a guy, he's a band guy. He's a guy that had a band, was doing the music and was touring, you know. He's an older white cat, surprisingly cool than a fan. Like this dude is, because Jerry,
Mm,
music kind of takes the color away, man.
yeah.
When you start loving this music thing, we I some may challenge this, but really no racism in music, if you know what I mean. Like that's the one place that brings us all together, like black, white, or whatever it is, whatever you know what I'm saying. We all there because we enjoy this music or this artist or this
Mm,
band, and we're all in the crowd and we're one person at that time. Now, what happens when we leave out of there? We can't really control or speak on, but in that moment, the music allows us to exist in the same space, not worrying about our race, and all of that. But anyway, uh, Brent Harvey, he founded another award show called Hollywood, they call it the HMMAs, the Hollywood Music and Media Awards, and
mm,
that's been going on for like 10 plus years. And I'll be honest, man. I didn't realize how big this award show was till I went to it. And I'll say, because we just spoke to where I came from.
mhm.
So let's just say, through my own channels as well as the ones, with my relationship with good music and all that, I've gone to all of the award shows. I've seen it, all. The production quality of the Hollywood Independent Music Awards, as well as the Hollywood Music and Media Awards, is exactly the same. It's a
Mm,
massive event with a huge attendance. The difference is that I absolutely love, and I can proudly say, a year after they accepted my category, they invited me to be on their board. So I'm on the board now for the yeah, yeah. Thank you. I'm on their board now, so I'm a proud I hold a seat, and I'm part of the decisions and stuff like that. And they come to me. I'm like their hip hop. I'm like their go-to guy for hip hop. You know what I mean? When they need to, and I think that's dope because they respect my background and my tenure in it, and felt I can bring something relevant to the table in that space, across the board, not just what I brought with ACH, but um Anyway, man, Brent Harvey, a visionary, man, he saw it. It was during hip hop 50th, and instead of me getting mad at the Grammys, because I'm not mad at the Grammys, I'm still a voting member of the Grammys. I'm still active. I get in like some of the little initiatives that they have going on. I attend events. I'm not upset with the Grammys. I personally feel like the Grammys, we're gonna have to sit down again because sometimes you can't get upset. Sometimes you just have to revisit things and it's not about, I just want to, since we are talking about it, I just like to say, like, we're so, and when I say we're, let me just be direct. Black people, we so funny. We always be so quick to be like, man, why we always looking for relevance from everybody else? Let's just start our own. And it's like, well, people, what I'm doing is not, my goal wasn't to start an award show. That's not the work that I'm willing or ready or interested in putting in to start an award show. As a matter of fact, we have several. We have the BET Awards. We have all these different awards. BET is one of them. Just because it's black don't mean I don't want them to also have an adult contemporary hip hop category. You get what I'm saying? This thing is not about black or white as much as it is about the sound of the music and expanding the rap hip hop category that has been minimized to this little bitty circle or box, and they're pushing every artist that even opens their mouth to resemble rap in that one category. So I'm just
Exactly.
trying to expand it because the house to me has gotten so small. We need some more rooms. We need a few more rooms in this house that hip hop built. You know what I mean? So anyway, back to Brent Harvey and the Hollywood Independent Music Awards. Man, like you just said, instead of me resting on my laurels or getting emotional and bad mouthing the Grammys and all of this, nah, man, I just went to the next award show that I saw. And when I presented that same proposal to them, you know how the saying goes, what's one person's trash is another person's treasure. And not to be that extreme, but to make the point, they saw gold and they was like, wow, we really like this idea. Matter of fact, we like it so much, let's implement it into this year's award show. And it was the same, it was like a few months before the award show. And I was like, oh, so I had to rally and move fast. And I gave away the first award in the category, and I came up as a special guest and spoke and explained what ACH is, and then gave away an award, the first award in the category. So it was beautiful, man. So the Hollywood Independent Music Awards, it's an annual event, and it's major, bro. And let me say this before I shut my mic off and let you speak. What I love about the HIMAs is it has nothing to do with popularity, radio play, uh, how many shows you've done. All that award show cares about, because again, it's called the Hollywood Independent Music Awards. Their focus is independent artists that's putting out quality material, and they want to award you and recognize you for your work. And if it comes across our table, and it's actually a board that decides, but I have a voice on the hip hop side, and I brought a category, an expanded category to them. So it's amazing what's happening over there with the Hollywood Independent Music Awards. Over the next few years, that I think that's going to be the award show. I just really feel that way because if you see the production quality and the way that show is ran, it's mind-boggling this man and his team has pulled something off of this magnitude in Los Angeles of all places.
You know, Los Angeles is the spot where people go to differentiate themselves. You know,
Hmm.
and it's been a long-standing conversation that the independent community is neglected.
Right.
It's magnificent artists from the underground, you know, that get overlooked. And I'm not
Yeah.
talking about good stuff. I'm talking about uh lyricists from
Yes.
the battle leagues that are roaming around,
Yeah.
that get this fire boom bap or real hip hop joints and lay it down. So
Hmm.
they need to have a place to get their recognition. Excuse me. Hey,
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
and
You
weather
know,
changing.
this year, Jerry,
Hmm.
2024, one of the most amazing, legendary, iconic new edition level hip hop groups out of Detroit. I'll explain why I call them new edition level. Slum Village.
Yes.
They won this year. They took the award this year for a song they have called Factor featuring Eric Roberson. So
Okay.
they won for adult contemporary hip hop this year. And the cool part about that is one, Abstract Mindstate, we went on tour with them just a few months ago,
Hmm.
earlier this year, like
Okay. Okay.
in April and May, from April, the whole month of April, all from April 4th to May 5th, we were on tour with them. So that was an experience because I mean, Dilla, come on, man. Dilla is the founder of that group.
Right.
And
Right.
it has gone on like New Edition. And our New Edition has gone through so many configurations.
Yeah.
Bobby is in, Bobby is out, Johnny Gill is in. Then okay, then the whole group chills for a minute. Now you got Bell Biv DeVoe, and then you got, they just break up and they do all these different configurations, but then they'll all do solo. It's just so wild. No, first of all, New Edition, let me go on record and saying they're like my all-time favorite R&B group that exists in the world because they've done things that hasn't been done in music, and I just can't wait for them to get recognized and awarded for those things. But anyway, I call Slum Village the new edition of hip hop because they've had some tragedy and some loss and you know, you
Yeah.
know, you know what I mean? They had some member changes and that group is still relevant. The essence of the group has never been lost. They still touring off of the catalog music as well as the new music, because again, the new music is what won them their award. But their fan base loves them regardless to what configuration it is, because the Slum Village brand makes a particular sound of hip hop.
Yeah.
It's their sound that attracts the people. It's not, so when the members change and that sound is maintained and it's still like a founding member in the group to me that puts the stamp on everything, man, it makes it a beautiful thing. So it was great to be able to give a group like Slum Village an award, man. Like I just don't know where Slum Village. I'm not taking away from them. They're one of the most amazing groups in hip hop, in my opinion. But where would they have gotten an award, for the type of hip hop they make? You know what I mean? So yeah.
Kind of was one of those icon awards or specialty awards. It wouldn't have been
Right.
main category awards, and it
Right.
and might not have even made the televised section.
There you go. Exactly. It may not,
See,
right.
a lot of people don't understand, like with the Grammys, there's a non-televised off-site
Yep.
event
Yep.
that usually deals with the producers and engineers wing.
Yep.
That's a separate, and then also the gospel categories, the independent music categories, the
Hmm.
chamber music categories.
Right.
All of that is not televised. It's a whole separate ceremony.
Exactly.
You have someone hosting, like I think a few years ago, Ellen DeGeneres actually hosted the non-televised,
Right. Portion of it.
and
Yeah.
someone else, you know, went to the main stage, and
Right.
it
Right.
was, but it's a beautiful thing to see all the opportunities, commercial music, jingle music that win
Hmm.
Grammys, you know,
Right.
composer this, best chart music, best. I'm
Yes.
like, come on, man. There's too many. They can't do it all on
Yeah,
one.
they can. Yeah.
You know,
Look, we'll be watching that award show for 9 hours.
at least 9 hours. Yeah. So it's like, bro, I didn't even know. So, spoken word is one of
Yeah.
those that are not in the televised category,
Yeah.
but it's a
Look, and a
huge
very
win.
good friend. As a matter of fact, since you touched on that,
Out.
very good friend of mine, Jay Ivy, the guy who has won the last two Grammys in the spoken word category, he's also the guy who got them to separate spoken word from audiobooks, because a
Yeah.
lot of people didn't know that the Grammys awarded audiobooks a Grammy.
Yes.
And he kept he's a spoken word artist that actually makes albums, and his albums I put together the same level of a regular recording artist, like, but it's spoken word, but he does it the way maybe a rapper or R&B artist would do it. It's well put together songs with huge features and well composed tracks, original music. And so he was, I guess, tired of losing to the audio books. He
Mm,
felt it was unfair. So he wrote a proposal to separate spoken word from the audiobooks. That year that he decided to do that, that was the year he and I was talking, and I was talking my ACH thing because Abstract had came back out and we're back out. So now I'm talking about ACH again. I'm talking
right.
about and he was like, man, if you really want to do, you can, you say, man, if you really want to make some change, you can write a proposal. I was like, I can? I was like, I didn't know that. He was like, yeah, man, I did. So what's funny is the year he submitted his, I was supposed to submit mine, but I missed the deadline by 1 day because I didn't check back with him in time. And I just happened to call him the day after the deadline. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was the wildest thing. I said, Jay, man, when do we submit these proposals? And he just said, oh, Ice-Gre. And I said, what? I was wondering why he said my name like that. He's like, man, I'm so sorry. The deadline was yesterday. I didn't even think about, because we hadn't spoken. He's like, I didn't even think to tell you. I was like, oh, no. So I had to wait a whole year to
Hey,
submit it.
but it was
So
done.
so I started waving the flag for it in 2021 when our album dropped of August 2021. So I
Mhm.
started waving the flag before it dropped because I went on, Abstract did a press run, like a couple of months before that. So I started talking about adult contemporary hip hop. Then 2022, I wrote the proposal. I wrote it and missed the deadline, so I submitted mine in 2023. So that's showing you the timeline on how I was actually doing the legwork over the course of 3 years once I realized I could do something about it.
And so 23, that was you submitted it directly to the Grammys.
Yeah, I submitted directly to the Grammys as a voting member. One of the things JIB told me, he was like, man, he said, because I was a member of the Grammys probably before all of my friends. I was a voting member back probably some 10 to 15 years ago, but it expired a long time ago and I never re-upped it. And JIB was like, man, you still a voting member? I said, man, I haven't been a member in probably 10 years. He was like, okay, well, first you got to get your membership back in order to be eligible to submit a proposal. So
Mhm.
right away, I started getting on all of that, and I became part of I think it was called the 2022 voting class or something, member class, because they made these little stencils for you to use, put on your IG, like to show you a proud member or whatever. And I was part of that 2022 class. And I was able to submit my proposal. So that's another thing. Even doing that, it's almost like I guess I don't. I'm really not into like politics like that. But
Right.
whatever politicians have to do, you can't just say, "Hey, I'm gonna be president." You got to do your Senate run. You got to, it's things you do before you get to being a senator. Like it's so. I was doing all of the ground. I was laying all of the groundwork
You're in the
before I could even
trenches.
fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the trenches. I
I was in the
understand.
trenches, yeah, before
Yeah.
I can even submit. I was things I had to do.
Man, speaking of submit, uh, got a new album
Hmm.
out produced by a cat called Young RJ.
Yeah, man.
And you just
Young
dropped
Art, one of the
this.
members of Slum Village. He's one
One.
of the members of Slum Village.
Come on, bro. Like, you don't have to talk to me like I don't know what I'm talking about, bro. Hey, does you see how he did that? I got more gray hair. I bet you I got more. I got gray hair on my big toe. That he, he,
Look, excuse me for
no, it's too
disrespecting
late.
your
It's too late.
wisdom.
It's too late. It's too late. When I come to town, you have to find me the best oxtails in town. That'll be your penance.
Oh,
So
okay, for sure. I got you. I got you. Look, hold me to it.
I will do that. I will
Hold me
do
to
that, man.
it.
So new single that young RJ of Slum Village produced. True story.
Yes, yes.
You
Yeah.
know, how excited are you for the future of Abstract Mindstate, flowing on that parachute? and commingling it with the activity and fresh conversations, energetic conversations about the ACH
Right.
category.
Man, I'm really excited. I'm more excited than I ever been simply because what I'm doing, like I've been watching a lot of LL Cool J's interviews
Mm,
since he dropped this absolutely amazing album that blew my mind and most people who's heard it. I feel like him in the sense that, when we did the thing when Kanye decided in 2020, well, it was before 2021, the album came out in 2021. I think he decided in like 2019. His
mm,
exact words were, the world needs Abstract Mindstate. You guys are going to heal people and save lives with y'all music. Y'all always been on that type of vibe, and it's time that the world hear y'all the right way.
mm,
And okay, so that happened. So I preface that the only reason I brought that up is to say, one of the greatest things out of all of the complaints that I may make that I can have about how poorly I felt our record was handled by the team over there at the time, and all of the stuff that was going on with him that distracted the success of probably one of the best albums of that year. At least that's what all of the magazines were saying. We were one of the best albums of 2021. And it was so many distractions. I was, and although that upset me, one of the wonderful things that I can say that happened out of that was whatever epiphany or whatever moment he had and decided to bring us back after a 16-year hiatus, that was the jewel or the beauty in it all. Like, because I wouldn't have never probably pursued being back in the front on the mic performing. And so
mm,
when you ask me how do I feel about the future of Abstract, man, because of that album in 2022, we shot a documentary because we felt like we needed to explain who we were. So I mentioned to you earlier, our first album was called We Paid, Let Us In. Well, the director of that documentary, who was actually an Emmy Award winning producer, television producer,
okay.
this was her first time. She was a first time director with us on that documentary, and she asked, can she use the name We Paid Let Us In? She felt like that was a good title. So she wanted to name it We Paid Let Us In, The Legend of Abstract Mind State. And I
Mm,
thought that was an amazing play. And it kind of made you remember our debut album that was such an independent release that,
mm,
only a select few knew about. And that all of the hip hop magazines at the time knew about We Paid Let Us In because they did write-ups on it and we got great.
mm.
But anyway, that thing that happened with that thing that happened, it allowed me to on 2022, we end up going on tour with Slum Village and and a domestic tour with them, and it was about 12 days. And that tour, them and their team was impressed with our performance so much that they invited us to go to Europe with them, you know, uh, the following year, and we couldn't make it. It was in 2023. We couldn't make it financially. We just couldn't make it. And so in 2024, they went back to Europe again and they invited us again. And this time we pulled it off and we was able to get our coins together and was able to make that tour with them. And
Mm.
so again, going back to when you said, when you asked the question, are you excited about the future of Abstract Mind State and everything? I'm extremely excited because here I am at my birthday is October 4th, and I'll be 53 years old, and I'm living my 19-year-old dream right now. I just toured Europe. I did 28 days in Europe. I went to places I've never seen and shared my music. Me and my partner EP, we shared our music with people and several people knew who we were, from the past and just some of our work. And even that
Yes.
was a great feeling. So I'm just saying, I'm super excited. I'm extremely excited because I didn't like back to LL Cool J. I just wanted to show that, hey man, there's dreams don't expire. Like there's no expiration date on like your dream of doing something, or and we always dreamed of going on tour. We talked about touring the world. We talked about that all our music lives, and we got to do it. So what's about to happen with young RJ from Slum Village producing our new album the same way Kanye did the last one, just like a one producer album. We're super excited because we're gonna go to Europe and even other places, not just Europe. We're gonna go, it's talks about, trying to get to Asia and several
Cool
other
stuff.
places. So it's
Yeah,
so much cool stuff going on. And I'm finally having fun with the music again. It wasn't, that's why I didn't have any interest in being an artist, because it stopped being fun. It
Mhm.
became a wheel wrap for food. Like we was ready to give our left arm to get on, and that thing became stressful.
Man. And you know what? But you had to go through the experience.
Hmm.
You know, your intestinal fortitude was well well stacked to handle it. Life tried that BS, but here you are triumphant. It's should be absolutely no imposter syndrome because you created benchmark sound. We're part of benchmarks in musical history, in the fabric of musical history, in modern history. Okay.
Right.
And you also showed that a genius, a musical genius, always had a spot for you in their mind to do a project so that you could get your word out. That kind of support and loyalty to a team member is something to also be highlighted. You know what I
Right.
mean? And whether there's an affiliation now or not, the fact that that was such a rock solid situation and it was from the heart, it wasn't a manufactured, oh, I'm gonna give you
Right.
2 million to do this project. No, bro, you have to be heard.
Right. Right. Right.
I don't get into any politics. I enjoy his musical genius. Your personal life is your personal life. I don't care. I'm too old. All
Right.
this gray. I've been through my own shit. I, I've been through something, that
Right.
paparazzi crap. I don't care. So I'm not here to gossip, only to support. And I believe, that you've shown the type of character that anyone would be proud of to call friend, associate, you know, and you're championing a cause that people at my age and even younger people
Hmm.
are beginning to understand. This is different,
Yeah.
sonically, this is different.
Yep.
Yeah, they may have used the OJ sample in both songs, but the way it's presented
Yes.
is different sonically.
Yes.
So if you're a hip hop audiophile who still got the block punked, speakers and all that, they don't even know anything about anymore, you know what I
Right.
mean? And you're looking for certain sounds and how the raspiness of a hip hop joint or a boom bap joint comes across, the crackle of vinyl, or even the
Mm.
imagery of the crackle of vinyl in your
Yes.
that's painted so well. I'm not going to preach today.
No, look, speak.
Look, I'm just saying there is a differentiation, and it's marketing for when it comes down to business. All right, for the award shows, it's marketing. It's a differentiator between other. I am, and some folks ain't gonna like the word. I am awoke
Right.
to the differences in the sonics, and I'm also aware that I need to rectify the imbalance
Hmm.
and put things right. And the powers of be can do that. And you've been successful so far. And I'm going to say, Grammys, you probably feel as bad or will feel as bad as Simon Cowell felt when he said, "You can't sing, and get out of here." And the young lady comes back and wins a whole Oscar. Wasn't that
Right.
Jennifer Hudson?
Yeah, that was Jennifer Hudson. One
Simon,
of the
Simon,
most
you're never going to live it down, Simon.
one of the most successful, if not the most successful, coming from the American Idol brand that lost, who was a loser, so to speak. I'm a air quote that she was a loser on the show.
Yeah,
Not a loser in life. She ended up winning life.
proved you wrong. So the ACH and Ice-Gre,
Yes.
that they're shining right now to the people. This is me putting my evaluation on it. It's a powerful conversation. It's a global conversation. You just came
Yes.
back from Australia. I don't know all of what you were doing and the business that you were doing in Australia. I'm sure some of it is G16 classified. Miss Tucker. You know what I mean? But
Right.
you're making moves globally. You're recognized and celebrated globally as a thinker and an around the corner thinker, because as minds are shifting, you're already there. You're meeting them around the corner already. Like, bro, I've been talking about this for 20 years.
Right.
Just catching up and taking it seriously. But, you know, that's not a shame. That's just, maturity. And the entertainment industry, and especially the awards industry,
Right.
it's so touchy and everything's so political and
Yes.
everybody could get hurt.
Yes.
Your little feelings hurt. And I don't mean
Right.
little feelings as if feelings don't matter. They're little feelings. Anyway, get your little feelings hurt.
Right.
And, because something isn't worded this way, or it's not as inclusive
Right.
enough. But, no, it's hip hop.
It's
The,
hip hop.
the
Yeah.
hub, the culture is the hub.
Right.
The Sonics represented the culture.
Yes. Yes.
Just like any parent, it has siblings.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Do we need to go to Revelations and talk about the tree of life?
Come on. You know what I mean? You know
You know
what
what
I
I mean?
mean? You speaking exactly to my what. Ah man, I need you. Look, I need you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to sit by this on the side of me through this run. You articulate what I'm doing so well.
I understand. It's
Right,
not I mean, it's not rocket science that this needs to be done. This is a well-considered issue that's been brought to the forefront in a logical manner. And all we have to do is get a DJ, one open format DJ, and
hmm
say, play me something hip hop and rap without any further guidance. The Sonics
Yeah.
are going to come different.
Yep. That's true.
Let
That's
DJ Premier get that kind of an opening. Oh, let me show you the difference. Really? Okay.
right. Right.
That
Yeah.
nut is gonna crack wide open.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
kid get in there. Let Envy get in there. You know,
Yeah.
let Illmatic.
Yeah.
Man, please.
Yeah, let's let, and that's what it's just a good place for me to reiterate, because in this thing that I'm pushing, in this mission that I'm on, I proudly say I have to beat a dead horse, because we don't listen. I have to keep using the word expansion.
Expansion. And I
I got to
apologize.
no, not you. You no. This was just a good time for me to say it again. That you teed me up very well. So thank you. But no, it was just a great time for me to beat the dead horse and say expansion, expansion, expansion. Because here's the thing, Dr. Jerry. The funny thing about it is, I don't know why we're like this. And every time I say we, let me go on record and make it clear. When I say we, I'm talking about us, like Black people, and this one is even just a human thing. But we're so afraid of change, man. Change is a word that scares a lot of people. I'm one of those pinch my nose, jump in the pool kind of guys.
Mm,
So I expect everybody to be like me. But guess what? The ones that are brave enough to pinch their nose and jump in the pool, those are the game changers. Those are our people in the world that gave us the iron. They gave us electricity. They gave us, these people who just was willing to just step outside of the box and not just talk about it. Because I'm gonna tell you a funny thing that happens on social media. I always have to reference social media because it's such a crazy and it's a beautiful part of it. Then it's just an absolute sick part of it, right? Um, Social media, because everybody gets a voice, people are afraid. That thing I said, they're afraid of change. You hear so many people like, no, hip hop is hip hop, and if you can't handle it, you don't need any more. Da da da. And all I can do is laugh because they're speaking to they'll see a clip of what I'm building on, and they speak to it so general. And I have to say, man, this is specific. I'm talking about award shows and formats for radio and using the call letters ACH to differentiate that word that you use, the sound. And it's not separating, it's including, because what has happened is over the years, our beloved rap hip hop category, our beloved rap hip hop format, the corporate, the labels, the corporate entities has watered it down so much that they've made it into what they believe it to be. So my thing, Dr. Jerry, is not to that's also a dead horse that I'm not going to beat and fight, because how many years have they fought to try to make stations play? I was like, it's always a different way to do it. Instead of trying to force something down their throat or force your way onto their playlist, nobody have seemed to thought about, let's just create a whole nother lane or another playlist in general, and let's not fight that one, because people are so afraid of change, especially corporate entities who have all this finance behind them. Money allows people to be stubborn. Money allows people to make them believe they know what they're talking about. Money allows people to make them think they're right, and make other people believe they're right because they have the money. But that's not necessarily true. You know what I'm saying? Some of the most financially deficit individuals are the most intelligent, the most informed, the most experienced. Because unfortunately, in this society, especially America specifically, because you're talking to a guy that has been fortunate and blessed enough to see the world, right? Um, we're only exposed to so much, those, and we the people believe that if you have the dollar, you have the information, or you're right. And that's not true. The people
Mm.
with the dollars, they have the money to invest in my ideas and your ideas. You get what I'm saying? They're the ones you team up with. So my point, when I try to tell people, like, I'm not fighting the radio stations, I'm not fighting the Grammys. I'm trying to work with them because they already have the foundation, the money, the infrastructure. I'm just trying to take something that's already there, not offend or not scare anybody, and say, hey, what I do see you guys doing, instead of complaining, being one more person complaining for another year, and you just use your power to show me that you can crush me like a bug,
Mm.
I'm just going to throw this idea out there and say, hey, okay, since that is that, I'm not fighting you on that. But let's open this up a little more. Let's expand this. Let's put another door on this house, because it's more than just the front. There's a side, there's a back, and we can put some more doors on this house so all of these individuals can end up in the same room, because that's when we say it's all hip hop or it's all rap, because now we're all in the same room. Because
Mm.
it's an example that I gave on another podcast I did, where I said, take somebody like a Ice Spice, or this girl a Saweetie, and then you got MC Light, a legend, an icon in the
Yeah.
game, who's actually been speaking out about, we need another genre or something to allow that will recognize the icons. Now, adult contemporary hip hop not only recognizes the younger guys making traditional music, but also the icons. Because like LL, going back to LL said something that I thought was really dope. He said, if you dope, it shouldn't matter what age you are. He also said, this thing is not about who's what did he say? How did he say it? He said it's not about who. He said who has the hottest ideas. And right now, some of the younger guys may have some hotter ideas, but then there are some elders, some legends, some icons, and even some kids right on the side of them that's the same age that have hotter ideas. So I'm saying let's leave some room for these ideas to be heard, and it gets us back to tradition so we don't lose the sound of what hip hop is, of what rap hop is, the traditionals, the audio that goes with the culture. Because rap music is just the audio that goes with the culture.
Mm,
Like breakdancing is the dance that goes with the culture. Graffiti is the art that goes with the culture.
mm.
Knowledge is the information and wisdom that goes with the culture. You know what I'm saying?
The
So I'm
coach.
just trying to expand the area, the audio area, because I spent most of my life in the audio area, and specifically in hip hop, and been a part of some of the biggest successes in this thing. I've been a part of it. So if anybody should be inspired or motivated to bring about change, expansion, I'm sorry, to bring up, to broaden the line or the field, it's somebody like me who has played team ball and been behind some of the biggest doing it. So I'm just trying. This is just for me another form of team building.
I love it. You know, it's an amazing movie, important conversation. I'm certainly down to discuss how, we here at the Hype magazine could support, the
Yes,
HGH movement and, give some additional recognition to, the Hollywood Independent Music Awards for
yes,
doing
yes,
it, and
yes.
tie that in. So we could talk about that offline, but certainly we'd be interested in drawing closer because
Hmm.
at my age and as the editor in chief, I'm not trying to talk about Little Yachty
Right, right, right.
because first and foremost,
And
not
it's no disrespect.
no,
It's just not your cup of tea, and that's okay.
no, 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 no. It's that. See, I'm a father of 6 and a grandfather of 15. I
Right.
could talk to him,
Hmm.
but he may not understand where I'm coming from. I watched some of his interviews. I think he's brilliant
Right.
and you know, soft spoken and very considered. I just feel like I'm more favoring our message music, our boom bap, our
Hmm.
original hip hop stuff that makes me want to get my creaky self up and and try to hit once or twice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, right.
but that's where I'm at. I enjoy the other music, but they're not talking about the same stuff that I'm talking about. Drugs weren't. Let me not get into the subject matter. The difference is sonically, if you go into, I don't know if you guys remember, used to be able to go into Sears. They don't even have Sears anymore. They had a whole audio department, right?
Oh yeah,
With the
yeah,
glass doors,
yeah,
and you go in
yeah.
and you
You
can
used to
try
go in
out
that
all.
room and turn those systems on, and I used to just blast those. Yeah, I know. I used
Yeah.
look, all of us hip hop heads. We would go in that room because you could close those doors, and they would encourage you to turn those speakers up. You remember that? They would let
Yeah.
you. And man, yeah,
That's as close as I came to being an audio engineer by punching the different speaker combinations in that
yeah,
code. Hey,
yeah.
let
To
me see
listen to
what
the
this
different
sound. This
speakers.
Alpine over here. Oh, Pioneer kicking. The
Yeah,
Sansui. Y'all don't even know about
yeah.
Sansui speakers no more.
Oh man, yeah.
Bro, remember what Sansui used to be?
Yeah, yeah.
Sansui will blow
Listen,
your
all of
ears
the
off.
Japanese made speakers were amazing. The Sansuis, the Yamahas, the man,
Yeah.
they yeah. And we
Oh,
live for those. We live for those,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh, see, it says this chair, they got these cushioned theater chairs. They were right.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you go bring your mix, your boombox mix cassette tape to throw into
Right.
the radio.
And throw it in there. And yep,
And
yep.
I'm throw it into the Alpine cassette player, boom, auto feed, and
Right.
combination 14 and 7. I want the blah punk bass boosters, the 15,
Yeah, yeah.
and I want the Alpine tweeters at mid range, and I'm going to sit there and it's going to be on 25. You know what
Man,
I mean?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
and you could
And,
get away with it.
man, and you know the funny thing about what we talking about, even the kids, the stuff that we might not necessarily be so much of a fan of, and we reckon, like you just said, we even recognize their brilliance, but they're going through these same feelings, but the problem is they don't know the foundation of it, and it's in my opinion, it's okay not to lose the foundation. It's okay to be educated
Yes,
and be popping at the same time. So that's it goes back to something you said now, and it puts me back to me about these doors and opening the space and expanding so people can live in the same room. If I can get Ice Spice in the same room as MC Light, this is the example I lost that and I'm coming back to it. If I can get Ice Spice and MC Light in the same room, there's something that can be learned there by them being in the same room. But the way things are set up now is constantly excluding
mm,
the others, and I'm just gonna call them the others because it's
right,
not necessarily they don't have to be icons like MC Light. They can be Corday, they can be Joey Badass, they can be Denzel Curry, they can be Lady London. She'll never be in the room with Ice Spice because her music is too traditional and it's not it's not getting the popular it's not getting the support from the all of the
right.
products and endorsements and stuff because this is what they believe to be rap hip hop, but it's more to it. So I'm just trying to expand the room because if I can get MC Light and Ice Spice in the same room, a conversation will emerge because for one, Lighter say something to her that she probably didn't know. MC Light is familiar with her and her music. It'll impress her. And here's the two things I always said that can be shared by being in the same room.
Mm,
Ice Spice can learn how to have a career and not just be hot for the summer from somebody
mm,
like MC Light. And MC Light can learn exactly what it is that these kids are doing online to to create such a following because that's what some of our elders are missing. Like what's going on, what are we not doing online to amass the type of followings that these kids have for in a lot of cases for less quality music,
mm,
for less with less skill and less talent, but they understand this social media driven society that we living in now. So there's something that can be learned there. And guess what? Now the community or the culture has just gotten stronger
mm.
because of adult contemporary hip hop. Because right now we're just not in the rooms together, man. We're just not, but they keep on saying this is all one thing. I'm going back when I say they, I'm throwing darts at the social media negativity, the guys that just jump on and talk crazy. We're not in the same room. This is a step towards getting all of us in the same room so the community can be strong and hip hop culture can be even better than it all than it was from how it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love to get somebody like uh I got 20 on my beat who, produced, I forgot who he produced, but young, he got platinums and stuff for the modern day sound
Right.
versus not versus, but somebody like fan of Haas G from the
Oh
UMCs.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so whoa, stop right there. I just got to say this. You know who contacted me? I want you to continue. Look, I don't mean to cut you off, but Beyonce had the bet. No, I'm just joking. Cool Kim, Hosh G's partner from
Yeah,
UMC,
yeah.
because of this adult contemporary hip hop thing, he got at me.
Mm,
Got at me. He started following me and got at me in the DMs. And Cool Kim from UMC said, "Yo, man, whatever you need, I'm in support. I like what you're doing with this ACH thing." And that's what I'm talking about. And you brought up Hosh G, who to me had one of the hardest beats, Apollo Kids, off of Supreme Clientele, Ghostface and
ah,
yeah, Hosh G. Yeah. Oh, I'm a historian, Dr. Jerry. I could
oh,
go
that
there.
brother, blue cheese,
Yeah, blue
interesting
cheese
fact.
and any way the
UMC,
wind blows, and just like I love the UMC's album, man.
yeah, they
Like
were
my
dope.
mom would tell you, man, I was a junkie. I would spend my allowance on cassettes. Like you know, I wouldn't eat to get music like in college, you know.
You know, it's crazy. Him and Rhyme Record uh just dropped a new joint last Friday.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
uh
Yeah, man.
it's
Hot
it's
G
a
and
Staten,
Cool
Staten
G.
Island thing jumping off with the
Yeah, man.
documentary
Staten
song.
Island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, it's beautiful, but I think I just laid out, you know, I got 20 in my beat and House G because the Sonics
Right,
are different. And
right,
I'm a fan of both, you know, because
right,
House G's got that grown folks, dangerous, fully built stallion track, right?
right,
And 20 has got this new airy, you know, fluffy stuff that,
right.
but it's still I just want to see that new guy and an established guy, the stalwart, take the same sample and the same basic beat
Mm-hmm.
and work it and see how they come back and display the same thing. That will be the physical embodiment of what it means to be ACH, Sonic,
There we go.
and modern day.
Right, right. And that's what adult contemporary hip hop does. What you just said. Once we're in the same room, it's no way. Come on, Dr. Jerry. It's no way collaboration is
Mm,
not going to emerge from the
mm,
individuals being in the room together. We're
yeah,
not in the same room. So, you know, to my Instagram spear chuckers and negative spitters, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting another door in this house so we can all get in the same room. It's so inclusive. I don't even understand how somebody can look at the clips of what you and I are talking about and don't get that this is more inclusive than exclusive, you know,
yeah. It's just
or excluding. We're not excluding, we're including.
yeah, it's just an expansion. And you know, like you said, you might have the West Wing of,
Right.
of the Black House, you got the East Wing of the
There we
Black
go.
House,
There we go.
you got the front yard, you got the backyard.
Exactly.
You
And
know,
and none of it,
you know
and
what's
none of
bad,
it
but
is
usually the backyard where the party at.
the backyard is where the party at. That's
That's what
that's that's
started
that's
it. Where the
yeah.
party starts. Where the party
That's where the party.
starts.
Yeah, the party is in the backyard, without a doubt.
So hip hop is where the party started.
Yes, yes.
The front
Yeah.
yard is the show, the curb appeal, you know what I
Yep.
mean? That the industry, the bean counters,
Mm-hmm.
have mind maps. Okay, let's bring this cookout
Right.
to the front yard and let everybody put their spin on it.
Right.
And you know, we could get political, but we don't need to because everybody understands the reality. Look, we just lost a 34-year-old young man. You know, we don't understand all the details, and you never know what somebody's going through. But I know that at that level, the label pressures are horrible, and
Right.
you want you to conform. And they have the same pressures for the old school, the
Yeah.
hip hop artists, no matter the age. It's not an age thing.
It's not an age
The
thing.
hip hop artists. It's like, no,
Right.
you need to sound more like, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
LL just busts everybody across the head and says, okay, that's
Oh,
what you want, bro. I
whoa.
got you. Here you go. Watch this. Rah!
Right.
And just ripped
And
everybody.
just I'm talking about just ripped through and the choices of singles that he put out. He put out like three underground, super underground hip hop records before he made it to this single with he has that single with Sweetie
Sweet.
Proclivities or
Sweet.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That was like the fourth single. Like he hit us with three head nod bangers, you know, raw essence of the culture. Then he was like, okay, now I'm gonna give y'all what always made LL, you know, special, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
give you that ladies joint, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So salute to LL.
You gonna get your head sprung regardless. When LL decide, you know what I
Yes,
mean,
yes,
to drop a project, he doesn't do anything to me that's not going to be impactful or unimportant. He's
man.
not he's not a
LL,
feature on everybody's shit.
exactly. To me, LL, like I've been saying this for years too, as long as I've been talking about adult contemporary hip hop. I always said LL is if hip hop had a logo, it would be LL. Because he I know the legends, the Kool Hercs and you know all of the guys, you know, Cass and Grandmaster Flash and all that. But if it's gonna be the logo the person who really put it on their back and just really dominated, LL did that. It's like he was the first of a lot of stuff. Like, I
Come
mean, the
on.
guys, the foundation guys, they did what they did, and shout out to them. But L is like, I mean, the B-boy stance with the one leg pulled up, with the arm, with the radio, with the Kango. I just see that as a silhouette, and L represents all of that. So, and to see him doing it today, he just
Today.
dropped an album like a week or so ago, and that album is amazing. You know who else represented lovely is Common and Pete Rock.
Oh, bruh. Oh my, that was ooh. Come
Yeah.
come now.
Common and Pete Rock, like Common, is a friend of mine. Of course, I'm from Chicago, and then
Right,
the
right.
music thing. Common actually was supporting Abstract Mindstate and like heralding us before I even met Kanye. Common was
Mm.
already on board, so I have what I like to say. I have a real friendship with him as well, and I got so much love for Common. And I said all that just to say this. Man, I was texting him so much when that album dropped. I know he enjoyed it, but I know he was tired of me because every day I was like, dude, like I was like, okay, today my new favorite song is this, da da da. I was like, this album is so nice, man. I love what y'all did here. And Common is a responsive guy. He was like, man, I'm glad you like that joint, Ice-Gre, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, man. So Common and Pete Rock, we gotta, just in the hip hop conversation that we having now, I would be remiss not to mention the work that they put out there too. Them and LL right now are just like really.
We just had we just had comment on one of our affiliated
Oh,
shows.
so there it is. So there it
And
is. Shout
talking
out to
about
my
his
brother,
and
Common.
him and Pete Rock's new project. And
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
it was on our SBR talk series and then DigiWax. Uh,
Right, right.
so they did lives and it was really dope series. Uh,
Yeah, man.
so that's all powered by the Hype magazine. All of y'all, look, because I just wrote about what Chicago is. Look, a leadership city. It has a historical background as a leadership city. Thinking minds, courageous minds, thoughtful and considered minds that know how to present a topic. We have Rhyme Fest, who
Mhm.
just dropped the
Oh yeah, the
James and
EP was featured on that album, and she was on the video for his last the single, it
yeah,
was
it's James and
yeah,
Nikki, a
James and
conversation. I just did an
James and
interview with
Nikki, the
Ryan
conversation.
with
Yeah.
Ryan Fest about. I was going to mention it, but you always, bro, like I try to save little stuff for me to do.
Look, I'm sorry.
No, you're the
I'm sorry.
heckler. No, you're the heckler in the audience that Arsenio has to get after. You want your own show? You want to spill all the beans? You want to take this thunder? Get your own show.
Hey, look, I'm sorry. I'm just
My
like a
God.
walking information. I have a lot of
I
information.
know, I know. You're like, you don't have to ask me. I'm gonna tell you. I already know. So I
Uh,
did this. Rhyme Fest has this for the 100th anniversary birthday of James Baldwin. He did uh James and Nikki, a conversation album, which
right.
I covered.
See,
I
there it
wrote it the
is.
story.
There it is.
And one of the things was every track had a feature from a female as
Right.
a representation of that 1971 conversation between
Right.
James Bald and Nikki Giovanni. And yes, Ebony Poitras was a part of the project. Now,
Yes.
I'm not talking to you no more. Is there anything you wanted to cover that I may have neglected? Because you certainly don't want to cooperate with me and let me do my thing. Oh man. Was there anything you wanted to cover that I may have missed, brother?
Man, listen, I definitely want to mention that on September 26th here in Los Angeles, there'll be a panel called The Session being hosted and moderated by a brother named Neeson, who's behind a few shows. He actually had a show called In a Session that was on people scared to say is that did what was the Revolt? It
Revolt,
was
revolt.
Revolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has this live version called this. It's called The Session, and it's kicking off on the 26th. And the first panel is built around me in this conversation about adult contemporary hip hop.
Mm.
So it's going to be at a place called Bespoke LA here, and
It's
yeah, people.
downtown LA, right?
Yeah, Bespoke is I think it's on Fairfax. It's actually in
Oh, it's not
it's
DTLA. Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay.
not it's not downtown. It's like in just Los Angeles in the city. It's a Bespoke. It's like in a arts area, a little artsy
Okay.
area, not downtown because it's another artsy area in that Fairfax area of the city, not just downtown. That's kind of the artistic area as well. It's a lot of venues that support things like this. And so at Bespoke LA, that panel will be going on the 26th. So I just wanted to mention that all who sees the playback, and if you are watching this before the 26th, everyone is welcome. You just have to RSVP, and you can do that on I have a link actually, but if you Google it, you'll find it. But a link will be on my page at Olskool_Ice-Grē. In the bio, there's a link tree that leads you to the RSVP link for that panel.
You know, he has taken a position. It's not easy to take the lead on the situation, but he's not a good damn dance partner. Doesn't allow the journalist to do his thing and set up. I brought up Rhyme Fest for a whole setup to get to EP, and then you just got to go blurt it out. But all the work I put work clothes on my dreams too, bro. Can I live?
My my bad, Dr. Jerry. You know what I'm saying? I
The
gotta.
fact that you're in my head like that is just wrong. Like obviously, we're thinking along the same lines. We're definitely connected.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's twice that he picked my brain for my next like setup, and he just fell for it. Well, it was just
Hey man, you shouldn't be so
universe.
good at telepathy, Dr. Jerry. You
I,
know,
I,
you telepathically sent that information to me, and I
now you're gonna make me go and wave some stuff in the
you get some
air.
sage. You're gonna burn some sage, and
But it might smell like sage.
I got
Yeah.
you. I got you.
Anyway, but man, I want to thank you, Olskool Ice-Grē. Man, Abstract Mindset. EP, you saw what he did. You saw he wouldn't let me get it out. He took over. But I wanted to mention, historic hip hop duo, male, female, only ones that I know of ever. I may be wrong, but I
No,
know.
that's it. It's just us. It's
Yeah.
just us.
And, you know, 16-year hiatus between albums picked up. Kanye says, nope, we got to get this done. And an opportunity to restart the conversation about just a differentiator between the sonics, an expansion of the category of hip hop, not to take away from anything, but to include more and recognize this is how our legends who are still making music, can have the opportunity to compete because oftentimes they're independent now as well. They're getting,
Almost all of them are.
yeah,
Yeah, almost all of them.
they're all getting first count on their money, not because necessarily they stepped out of the label arena, but the label traded them in.
Mm-hmm.
The bean counters traded them in without understanding the culture of the categories that they have created.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this caste system that they created. And
Mm-hmm.
they just threw anything that was rhythmic, lyrically
Into the rap hip hop
into the
category.
rap hip hop category, rap
Yeah, that's
slash hip
yeah.
hop. I don't think that's fair to the culture that developed from the music, and the designator. And also, I would like to take this time on air. And, our Latino and Latinas from that era belong in a spot where they can also get, the recognition. They're not competing against, Yachty. They're still making real hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially, and this has been a subject of contention, but our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, the huge contribution that they made to the sound, the sonics, and the whole culture.
Yes. Yes.
And keeping the music alive even to this day.
Right.
Demanding hip hop purity when they're getting out there, getting ready to top rock and do their thing or whatever. You know what I mean? The B-boys.
Yes, I do.
So
I do.
Go ahead.
No, totally agree.
The culture is supporting. The culture is supporting. The culture is supporting this call to action. It's a need. You're not going in and putting, animatronics up against top rockers.
Right. No.
So you can dance world of dance. We don't have contemporary going up against ravers.
Right.
Ballroom versus bachata.
Right.
Rap and hip hop are children of the same movement.
Yes.
But the representation is different. I like Dizzy Gillespie. You like Fats Waller.
Right.
Same ilk.
Right.
Sure. Different.
Right.
Awards should be different. Anyway, the Hype Magazine live sessions. Olskool Ice-Grē. Stay tuned for the young RJ produced Old Slum Village. The new single, True Story, coming from Abstract Mindset.
Yes. Mindstate.
Mindstate. He had me laughing. It got me all confused and stuff.
Yeah.
Abstract Mindstate.
The coming album is called The Art Project.
The Art Project album. But the new single that's coming out, that's leading off, is called True Story. Did y'all change that?
No, that's still it. That's us out there. True Story is out there.
Okay, I'm just checking because Abstract Mindstate. I love your work, sir. I love your mission.
Thank you.
I love your empathic nature of pulling out thoughts before they're spoken. Thank you for the honor of turning this from an interview into a conversation.
Oh man, blessings. Wow. I like that. Hey, Dr. Jerry, this has been one of the best interviews, man. You are super insightful. I love how much research you've done, not just intelligent conversation. That's what this was. This was great. This wasn't an interview. This was just an intelligent conversation. I feel like my extension to my name is Olskool Ice-Grē, the good doctor. You will hear me say it in the raps. Now I didn't put the work in to earn the doctor that you have, but as an MC, I'm the good doctor.
All right, good doctor. Look here, Olskool Ice-Grē, the good doctor.
Yes, sir.
Abstract Mindstate and the ACH movement.
Yes.
Trust me, it's more about unity and respect of creativity than any type of aggression against the other sounds.
Yep.
We out.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Peace.
Hello, Cool J, Necessary Exposure, Hype Magazine. Peace.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
Because I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
Because I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty,
You will only aim in life to beat royalty.
We're doing it right now. I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out to Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.